All right, gonna do another concert review. This one's bittersweet. So, Dragged in the Sunlight, Mizmor, and Rabbit at the Stone Church in Vermont. Originally, Meth was the opener, and then there was some label drama, and Meth was kicked off the tour. I don't know, and Rabbit took over. So, Stone Church in Vermont. It was a fun drive to get to, and it's a stone church, beautifully restored, stained glass windows, pipe organ still there, like all that stuff. Really cool venue where they do lots of evil metal stuff, I guess. So that's always fun. Staff were really friendly, and that was awesome. So far, I'm just loving the venues around here. They've been great. So Rabbit was the opener. I don't really know how to describe their genre. They were a little kind of noisy, a little kind of grindy, a little kind of punky, like vocalist. And I don't mean this in like a demeaning way. Like vocalist is kind of like wacky, like a big kind of crazy energy, pacing the floor, swinging the thing, big kind of personality. So they were fun. And if I recall, because this was on June 12th, there was a bit of mossy action going on. A little bit of pushy action, definitely some dancing. So they were cool. I didn't know Rabbit at all. And no offense to them by any means, but I was really hoping to see Meth. Meth was the main reason I got the ticket. Dragged in Sunlight was number 2. Mizmor, I'd heard about them, and they're black metal. They're not the type of black metal that I'm particularly drawn to, but I will say this. Really good live. So just really good musicianship. The stage at this venue was pretty small, so I didn't really get a good sense of their energy. But like, I'm going to give them another shot, because I think that I enjoyed them enough during the night to where I'd at least see them again. So that's Mizmor, black metal from Portland? I think Portland, Oregon. Somewhere in Oregon. Yeah, and they were really cool. So it was this interesting kind of like frantic, chaotic energy, and then into this like relatively disciplined black metal energy. A lot of smoke. And again, in this church, which I think everybody enjoys that kind of thing, right? Like, it can't just be me. Anyway, so Dragged in the Sunlight comes on next, and they have this huge like candelabra thing that goes right in the front of the middle of the stage. A bunch of candles up, some like deer skull type stuff. And somebody had told me that they play all in darkness. I don't know if they still do that, but they didn't this night, although there was a lot of darkness. So kind of members to the left and the right of the stage, and the main vocalist is behind this giant candelabra facing the drummer, and he's in this like robe thing. So only a few times did he like turn forward, which I don't know. They had a lot of like strobes and flashing and smoke. So I don't know if it was intended to be disorienting or if it was intended to be like aggressive and mean, because their music is very aggressive if you know them at all. And as I was worried about the venue, while their sound was great for the other two bands, it was not well set up for Dragged in the Sunlight, who had a lot of amps and whatnot, a lot of noise coming out. So I think it was one of those things where maybe if you were in the back, it would have sounded a little bit better. I don't know. So it was a cool show to see. For me overall, though, I left kind of wanting more. One of the biggest perks is because I'm new to this area, I'm going and I'm doing these beautiful drives to these venues I don't know, and I'm getting to meet new people. And you know, it's really youth heavy here so far as like the age groups attending the shows, which is awesome. A lot of kind of all ages shows, and obviously, you know, while extreme music does become more mainstream, oddly enough, it still needs people to keep it alive, and people bringing their kids or allowing their kids to go is so important. And I think that for the most part, people know well enough that even in extreme music, like these are supposed to be safe environments. And from what I've seen personally, most shows, no matter how crazy, are have been safe. Now, yeah, I'm not a person of color. I'm not a woman. I'm not a child, so I don't know. Right, I haven't experienced those dangers outside of the obvious dangers like moshing and so on and so forth. But my experience being at the shows and talking to people is, by and large, a lot of people are feeling safe there. And if there has been an incident of any kind, they felt supported by friends, by the crowd, by the staff. So I'm hoping this continues, and I'm hoping it becomes much stronger. I know that there are still problems, obviously. But anyway, so again, it was an interesting show. I'm really happy I got to see these 3 bands live. I would see Mizmor again. Rabbit, I'm not sure. But Dragged into Sunlight, as it stands now, unless I knew the venue could nail the sound, I would probably not see them again, because it wasn't like, oh my god, a wall of noise, like that's awesome. It was like a wall of noise and kind of crazy lighting that was just like physically uncomfortable. Because I couldn't really look forward to much because of the lighting, which is fine. I don't care when bands do that, but between that and the sound just being kind of drowning in a way that wasn't digestible, that was a little bit hard. So that's just me, though. I'm sure other people had different experiences. I think for me, when I'm looking to go, I want to be able to be pretty much fully engaged the whole time. But I know that there are losses when you stand up front, and there are losses when you go to see noise, and there are losses depending on the venue and so on and so forth. So it's not, I don't think I'm being unreasonable, and I'm not blaming anybody. I think it's just one of those things where that night just didn't work out despite a lot of really good elements. So video should be linked below, and have a good day.